Hey, I just finished recording and I kind of wanted to show you around the RV and how I do my recordings here in a little tiny space. Now, one of the things I hear new people say a lot is that they don't have a good spot to record, they need fancy equipment, they need an expensive camera, they need to buy a teleprompter, and there's just a lot of barriers to entry. So I wanted to kind of show you my setup here so that you could see kind of what I'm doing in this little space. This is our RV, and you can see out my back window that window, it blows out my video a lot, and so we have to do a lot with lighting to make sure that that doesn't happen, because it's really the one good spot that I have to record in the RV. And I kind of have it like set up back there with couch and pillow. The Afghan, I guess, is falling down a little bit, but it is sort of set up to be a good backdrop for me. But we do have to deal with the window, because if I pull the shade down, it's really ugly. It's just a pure blackout shade. So that's kind of what we're dealing with on my backdrop. And sometimes my backdrop can be quite nice, like it is. Well, right now it's not nice, but let me flip you around and I'll show you some of the other things that we do. So here I have not moved at all. I just flipped the camera, and you can see this is the RV kitchen. And then over here is the RV living room. And right there is my office, which is also called the dining room table. My husband is working behind the door right there. That's his office. We have 2 bedrooms, so we've turned that bedroom into an office. And this does move. This is our fifth wheel. So we have a little more space. We are not living van life. This is 42 feet long. So I do have a little more space than some people, but certainly not as much space as I had in our house, where I could leave the bedroom set up, a spare bedroom set up all day, to do all my recording. So here you will see, this is our very homemade teleprompter. It has been with us for a bazillion years. I've had it since my very first video. It is made with a picture frame up here. This is a picture frame with glass in it, and then just some wood from the store. And then this is my iPad, which mirrors my script up onto the picture frame. And then you'll see an extremely old, I bet that camera is more than 10 years old, SLR camera. So not at all fancy. And then the towel at the top goes behind the camera so that it makes it all dark around the camera. Okay, and the camera can see me and I can see the script, and it's a lovely thing. And it's just attached to a tripod that we had. I use a snowball mic on our kitchen island, and you can see we use Gorilla Tape a lot when we're recording because everything's all taped together. I have Gorilla Tape down here on the floor. That's where my feet go. And then this is our ring light. And I have a much bigger ring light that I accidentally left at home and I need to pick up, but that's the one that is more portable, and you can see there's Gorilla Tape in action. Okay, my feet on the floor are because the tape on the floor is because we only are able to let me turn myself around a second. I use the tape on the floor because I am only able to record very brief periods of time each day. As you can see, I have windows all around me in my background. That one is partially closed because the sun was coming in. Because of all the windows, I have to make sure that we're recording only when the sunlight isn't streaming directly in those windows. And there are things I can do. I can, close some shades. Right now we have the TV up. Oh, you can't see it. We have the TV up right there to block that window. That TV goes up and down. So there are some things that I can do to kind of minimize the sunlight coming in. But the reality is every site we're in has different times of day where I am able to record without blowing out something or the sun being in my face or whatever. So a lot of times if I'm recording multiple videos, it can take me several days to get them all recorded. And so during that time, we have to leave everything pretty much set up. We put tape on the floor where everything goes so that we can actually walk around in here. But we can't really take it all down because it would take way too long to set it up, and we get a limited window. Some mornings, depending on the time of year and where we are, I might be up when it's still completely dark out getting everything ready so that we can open up the blinds and have not bright sunlight, but just have muted sunlight. So that's a huge, huge issue for us. Probably more than space is lighting. So that's why I have tape on the floor, because that way every day I know exactly where my feet go, and it saves us a lot of editing time. So I think that's it. You can probably hear in a second, you'll be able to hear. One of our bigger challenges is also the sound. So no matter how great we might think we have everything set up, we might think it's quiet, it's a good time of day to be videoing, something usually happens. Right now we're in the Phoenix area, and we are very close to Luke Air Force Base. And I think they turned and went the other way. But while I was just recording my previous video, you could hear the jets doing their morning exercises over the big, like, super loud jets were flying right over us. And it's just sort of the nature of the beast, because I stopped the video for the jets and then the dog next door started barking. And so you just never know. One time I was recording and the guy next to me started power washing his motorhome. You know, you're never entirely sure what's going to happen. So that's also one of our challenges. Sometimes if we're in somewhere really noisy, I'll get the comforter off the bed and I'll start hanging blankets on the walls to kind of deaden the sound around the space that we're in if I have to record. But the reality is, the really beautiful backdrop areas that you see people recording and going live and doing photos, Instagram for sure. There's a lot of beautiful photos on Instagram. Typically, those are not going to be the best places that have Wi-Fi to go live, or to, you might not have the equipment that you need out in those places, or the setup, or you'll have shadows. Or one time I dragged all of my equipment out to a beautiful field full of wildflowers to go live. And the minute I got out there and started going live, I got attacked by thousands of crickets. Like, they were everywhere. I must have stepped in some kind of nest or something. So I had spent an hour getting the shot all set up, and it was horrible. You couldn't hear me at all. There was just way too many crickets. So those are some of the challenges of video in RVs. I hope that gave you a little insight and maybe a little inspiration that it doesn't have to be quite as complicated as you're making it. Bye-bye. I forgot to tell you the most important thing. I am Tracy. I live full-time in an RV, and you can find me at LaunchTechMadeEasy.com.